So everyone, we made it 14 hours of the Democracy Festival of a Freedom Marathon. When we started, we thought it was insane, and it was completely insane, but it was worth it, right?
Yes, yes.
So worth
What an amazing event.
How do you guys feel?
Tired, but
Come on.
Come on, Laura.
I mean, not tired. I think I can do another 2 hours, but I'll save yourself. No, I feel tremendously inspired. I think we had a fantastic opportunity to hear from amazing people, and I'm just I'm still a bit in shock, but super happy.
Shock.
So the last 20 minutes, do we have energy? Do we have passion?
We
Are we
always
gonna fight for
have
freedom?
energy.
Beautiful.
And I want to channel this energy, actually, asking a question to Colombe after this amazing day, right? So we talked to so many speakers. We saw that this whole event and all the sessions embodied the spirit we want to bring forward. But my question is, so why we have done this event? So what?
To torture you, Claudio.
Very good.
To
very good.
deeply torture
That
you.
was a very fine way to torture everybody, myself included.
And no, beyond the torture for Claudio, we have done this event because a couple of months ago we started working on the idea that we need a common democratic front to be able to counter authoritarianism. So when China started cracking down, which was months ago now, back in May, even stronger than before in Hong Kong, when it was about to pass the national security law, we realized after many conversations that we needed to unite across the world, that we needed to demand that our governments do more, unite and impose coordinated sanctions on Chinese officials responsible for multiple human rights violations. We realized that when you have big regimes, big threats like the CCP, no country alone can act meaningfully. Even the US, which is doing its best, is not managing to successfully counter the threats that the CCP is posing. And I'm not talking only the threats in Hong Kong, in Tibet, for the Uyghurs, in mainland China, but this is happening all over the world. China is already entering Europe with its Belt and Road Initiative, with multiple investments in Africa, and it has consequences. If you look at the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of countries, and to the Hong Kong struggle, a lot of European countries have been very weak in demanding responses or in condemning what has happened, and those countries are the ones where China has heavily invested already. So we decided that, not only because it's the right thing to do to stand with Hong Kong, which it is, but because it is smart for us, because it is smart for humanity, we need to work together. We need to start a common wave of freedom. And so with this in mind, we started hosting weekly protests in front of Chinese embassies across the world. We started 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 across the world.
Sorry, guys. Continue from.
Am I still going? So we started the first protest actually on July 3rd. It was Andrea, myself, Anita, and Mirta in front of the Chinese embassy in Brussels, where we got chased away because we didn't have the proper permits. And then, a few months later, we're now in September, every week more than 40 cities join us across the world to demand that governments unite, act together, and counter the threat that China is posing to democracy. We started this, but it's not the last stage. And I'll ask Andrea what we will do next. But basically, to answer in a very long way to a very short question, the reason for which we're doing this and for which we're having this important event is because we believe that we need to create a common front. And what better way than to come together for a very long day, to come together, look at the past, understand the lessons and mistakes of the past, which we did. We look at the FARC deal. We looked at South Africa. We look at ex-Yugoslavia. To look at current struggles against corruptions for freedoms, like in Chile, like in Lebanon, like in Hong Kong, and to look at the future with countries that are not even imagining a democratic future so far, like Syria. And then together with people who stood with us all day long to try to create a wave of democracy, to work together for democracy. So this is why we did it. Sorry, but I'm going all over the place. I'm way too tired. It's hour 14.
No, but I think it's super interesting, and also thinking about how we started with the Fridays for Freedom protest.
Yeah, you were alone in London, right?
Yeah. But it's it all came together, and I think that crazy idea doing 14 hours, but it does it came together.
Crazy to do it so short. Yeah. So I completely.
Andrea, how did we get here? What's next for now?
I mean, what's next for freedom? More than for now. Now, jokes aside.
Always more.
Jokes aside, we will bring forward this campaign for freedom for many months ahead and many years if needed. Our next big target is the G7 convention that will take place in August 2021 in the UK, according to plans, if no major pandemic will happen again. With the idea that that is the perfect situation, perfect moment to bring together democracies and what they're called the Great Seven countries that are, let's say, the major economic powers from the 70s and the 80s, together with at least 3 new players that we have identified and that we believe should be very interested in building a coalition to stand for freedom. These 3 players are South Korea, India, and Australia. Building this coalition, this group that we dream to name D10, the Democratic 10, we believe they can create a nucleus of democratic countries ready to stand up for freedom. And obviously, the Chinese regime crackdown on Hong Kong is one clear example where such a coalition could impose impose economic and diplomatic sanctions to prevent China to further spoils and ruin freedoms in Hong Kong. But it can be applied in many other on many other topics, Tibet, the Uyghurs, and also not only related to the Chinese state. So our dream is to start creating this league of democracies that can fight back, that can represent a future for all the freedom fighters that around the world are right now overwhelmed by authoritarian regimes and cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. And obviously, we're going to also continue on all the other fronts. I mean, now is a huge project. We don't stick to only one campaign. This democracy campaign is really important to us. But as I was mentioning with Frank, and also in other talks, we're going to continue pushing on climate. We're going to start tackling economic topics. We actually foresee many more campaigns. But on this note, who better can tell you what's coming next than our
and
very
how to join.
That our very energetic and motivated campaign manager, Laura.
2 hours.
Yeah. Before telling you how to join, let me tell you that to join, you have to be a bit crazy.
What?
Totally agree. Yeah?
As Andrea said, now it's a huge project, but I think if you joined, if you were with us throughout the session, you understood that democracy, together with many other topics that we tackle, it's not a topic that is going to be solved by one country. So I've seen people joining us from all over the world, and I think we all believe that solution can only come at the global level, can only come if we unite. So if you believe that as well, I see no reason why you shouldn't join us, aside from the fact that they will put you on a 14-hour marathon at some point.
Laura, you wanted to do it.
Laura, you signed.
Also said, by the way, this should last 24 hours. Yes, you did.
I think you were on my side.
You were on his side. We should make it last 24 hours. Colombia crazy to want to cut it down.
Well, okay.
Wow.
So how can you be active? How can you join us? First thing, you can just sign up on our website. We send a lot of opportunities across. As Andrea said, we're not a one campaign movement. We're tackling a lot of issues. So you can get involved in whatever topic interests you the most, or all the topics that you want to get involved with. Now I was born just 9 months ago, and in those 9 months we've reached 7,000 people and over from more than 109 countries. So I think that this speaks to the volume of people that want to be active. And I think if you joined throughout the marathon today, I'm sure that you want to take a stance on a topic like this. The second thing is to get ready. As Andrea said, the next few months are going to be...
I thought you were announcing a new one. I was like, no, please.
No, the next few months are going to be very busy. We wanna launch a lot of surveys. We wanna hear from you. We wanna understand what you're interested in. What do you think are the most important topics, and how we can tackle them. So get ready to be as active as possible. And finally, as I said before, it's time to impact change. It's time to make a difference. And I don't think that any of us can do it by sitting at home. So join us, get ready, and let's change the world.
Oh yeah.
I'm a bit emotional for this project.
And to close entirely this fantastic marathon, so thank you very much for attending the whole sessions. I mean, we know that you were there the whole time. Thank you very much, and see you next year.
Woo!
Bye.